So you're sick of feeling sick after Thanksgiving dinner, but you also don't want to be on a diet or miss out on all of your favorite Thanksgiving foods. Well, look no further and stick around until the end of this video because I have got all the tips you need to outsmart overeating this Thanksgiving. I promise to make it worth your while and not take up too much of your time because I know you've probably got a meal to plan or prepare for. Hey friends, my name is Christina and on this channel we talk about lean eating skills and the psychology behind our overeating without restrictive diets or calorie counting while keeping plenty of fun in life. Let's get started. I'm going to share with you all of my favorite skills to outsmart overeating. There is no need to stuff yourself like a turkey this Thanksgiving. I have made a bunch of videos about overeating, like this one right here, and more that I will share throughout this video because it's something that takes a lot of practice if we've gotten into a habit of it. You don't have to try all of my recommendations here, but if you pick one or two, you'd be that much closer to trusting yourself more and enjoying your holiday meals without the discomfort of overeating. Now, maybe this goes without saying, but in case it does not, if you are someone who wants to throw caution to the wind and not think about anything to do with your eating on Thanksgiving, you're an adult and you totally can do that. But if you want to enjoy your holiday without the bellyache and indigestion, then keep watching. My first skill in the formula to outsmart overeating is to think about the mindset around your meal. Ask yourself this important question: how do you want to feel at the end of your meal? On a scale of 1 to 10, let's say 1 is you're starving, very hungry, low energy, and 10 is so full you feel sick. We want to end this meal feeling satisfied or pleasantly full, about a 5 or a 6. If you're trying to outsmart overeating, then going into your meal with an intention can be really helpful. If you have in years past felt so full at the end of your meal, you felt sluggish, then trying to be aware of that throughout the meal can be really helpful. I might say, I want to feel peaceful and present with loved ones. I want to taste the food and feel satisfied and try all of my favorite foods, but not feel overstuffed at the end of my meal. That's just an example and it might sound different for you. The thing is to set some kind of intention and to try it out as an experiment. If you're someone who normally eats fast because all the food is so good, then taking a break midway through the meal can help with overeating. Check out this video here to find out more to ensure you don't get past the point of fullness. A good test to see if you have overeaten is if you get up at the end of your meal and you could go for a 10-minute brisk walk without any discomfort, or maybe you could do 10 jumping jacks, then you've probably done well. If not, then chances are you have overeaten. We want to avoid any scarcity mindset going into the meal because that can be a recipe for overeating. An example of that might be, but I only eat Aunt Jane's pecan pie once a year. Great, then you can include that. Or if you're full by the time dessert rolls around, you can take a piece for later when you feel hungry again to avoid being over full. Remind yourself that food is abundant and you can have more when you're hungry again. You don't have to get it all in right now. Secondly, I recommend going into this Thanksgiving meal hungry but not too hungry. Did you know that food tastes better when you're hungry for it? Think through your schedule and commitments for the day, and if you know that you're going to eat in the early afternoon, for example, maybe have a light breakfast. I don't recommend fasting all morning until the meal because this can make it harder to not overeat at the meal. Have you ever gotten to a meal and felt completely ravenous and couldn't help but eat super quickly, only to end up having to unbutton your pants at the end of the meal? Then you can help yourself out by trying that trick. This next one is probably my favorite. So we've already established that we are going to get to the meal feeling a little bit of hunger because we know that food is going to taste even better. When it comes to the mealtime, I want you to plate all of the food that you plan to eat. Remember that the first bites are the best, so be sure to include all of your favorites on there. And pass on the stuff that you're not crazy about. Next, eat your meal sitting down and really taste the food. If anything that you put on your plate is just okay, let your first bite be the test. There's too much deliciousness to waste our time on the stuff you don't even like. I want to make a quick note on diminishing returns. You may have heard this term before, but when it comes to food, it's when you notice that the more you eat, the less good the food starts to taste as when you first started. As you're getting satisfied from your meal, that second piece of pumpkin pie just isn't as delicious as the first one. This is the point where you can say, I really want this to taste as good as that first one, so I'm going to take some home and eat it with dinner tomorrow. Diminishing returns is often why many of us like to switch out the sweet and the salty. When I've had enough sweet and start to notice those diminishing returns, I can always swap to salty. I like to use diminishing returns as a way to slow down or even stop eating. That's when I try to practice ending my meal. And guess what? Sometimes that means leaving a little bit of food on my plate. If that sounds crazy to you, I want you to check out this video here about how I let go of my Clean Plate Club badge. What do you think about using diminishing returns with your eating? Let me know in the comments below. If you are like some of my clients, then this next tip will be a game changer. Does your family keep all of the food out and the rest of the day is a marathon graze fest? If you can, I recommend first putting away all of the food to avoid post-dinner grazing. Remind yourself that those leftovers will be waiting for you when you're hungry again. Your Aunt Jane will probably be really grateful that you want to help with the cleanup. If that's not an option, I recommend moving away from the spread of food if possible. Sometimes planning an activity after your meal can keep you excited and the pleasurable experiences going, rather than using food to try to keep that pleasure going. My husband and I want to try to create a tradition of going for a nice walk after our meal, or maybe your family would have fun playing a game together. If the food is ever before you, try putting a mint or gum in your mouth if you think being around the food will lead to some mindless grazing. So what about if you're someone who has many feasts to partake in throughout the whole weekend? You can use these skills at leftover Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I just had a call with a client who said how much she loves this weekend and that Thanksgiving is what it is, but she doesn't like that it often bleeds into the rest of the weekend. How might you try some of these skills throughout the whole weekend to make sure you're feeling your best going into Monday morning? I know that alcohol is often a part of holiday traditions for some. If you want to know how I help clients manage their alcohol intake even during the holidays, check out this video here. The bottom line is you do not have to feel stressed about overeating at Thanksgiving anymore. You don't have to say, screw it, this weekend I'm gonna just try again on Monday. There is nothing better about waiting until Monday or January 1st to take good care of yourself and pay attention to your overeating that you can't start this week without missing out on your favorites. You get to decide what you want Thanksgiving to feel like for you. Even if you aren't the one preparing the meal, you are always in the driver's seat of your food choices. How you feel going in, how much and what food you eat, and how you feel at the end of the meal. Well, there you have it. You might have noticed that a lot of this video has been about the way we approach Thanksgiving and our mindset. Normally, it's how we think about the food that can get us into trouble. Now you know that you can enjoy all of your favorites that you only have this time of year without feeling terrible or full at the end of your meal. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found some helpful insights and get the opportunity to take some time to reflect on how you can outsmart overeating this weekend. In the spirit of Thanksgiving, I want to say that I am grateful for you. I hope that you have a beautiful Thanksgiving celebration spent with people you love this weekend, and I will see you in the next video.